I think the conditions to listening such music by the Zoom is not good, so I think I should skip this one. The works I have mentioned present a set of different interaction strategies. Some of them are based on proximity detection, others based on touch. Some of them use the participants' own devices, and others, I mean performances, I based on my own improvisational interaction with the prepared elements of the work. I'm skipping the ephemeris, looking for the next slide. It's long one, okay. Yeah. By the end of 2019, it seems that the possibilities of using interactive techniques in artistic activities would increase, but the epidemic situation forced the reduction of some possibilities. First, those based on direct contact and touch of work, and then all additional activities in the common physical social space. The limitations caused the pandemic and the lockdown occurred when I was finishing my master thesis defense. The subject of the work was in some way narrative. I wanted to tell the story of my great-grandfather, Franciszek Krzeczkowski, who 100 years ago was a salt miner in the Wieliczka salt mine, and his fascination with beautiful sand crystals, also interesting because of their properties. It was contagious for his friends. I also became infected with his fascination. So I decided that it would be best to take the form of an live audiovisual performance in the original space of the mine to provide a peculiar kind of immersion. Unfortunately, a lockdown took place a month before the planned date of presentation. I definitely had to rethink the form of work. I expected that the second deadline might be announced while the lockdown was still in progress. So I decided to apply several elements to compensate that I'm not presenting this work in a mine. I took the Unity computer game engine, where I placed the fragments of the mine in 3D space, reconstructed from plans and photos, and other abstract spaces related to the subject of the work. I wanted to use the interaction strategies known from computer games, and here I immediately realized that they had a lot of limitations. First-person shooter games have mechanics of movement in space based on a simultaneous use of the mouse and keyboard. People of my generation who have played this type of game since the mid-90s know that this system did not come into existence right away, but evolved with the development of graphic capabilities of computers. Currently, the standards is to use the W, A, S, and D keys to move the character in flat space, while moving freely with the mouse that allows you to turn around and look around. Freely look. Other movement or physical mechanics are activated with other keys if need. This makes it necessary to learn specific motor coordination between the right and left hands, which is also a common feature when playing a musical instrument. This comparison is as bold as it's justified, because mastering the smooth movement in such a way in 3D space requires many hours of practice, and mastering this technique in such a way to forget about the medium of a keyboard and mouse and experience the full immersion of the 3D environment on the computer screen requires at least a few weeks of practice. Of course, I know that the time scale for mastering basic proficiency in a musical instrument is much, much longer. But it makes a serious obstacle to the exploration of this created 3D space for people who have not yet had opportunity to learn the move in first-person shooter games. The use of a computer game environment allowed for the preparation of interactions in the form of several interesting mechanics. The already mentioned free exploration of the vast system of rooms, a gravitational interaction with some objects like a collision or the use of flux of force. Luke used the force. The use of proximity switches in various combinations of dependencies. The application of all these techniques also at the level of sound realization, which allows to define certain fragments of the work as a virtual instruments based on samples. The use of an interactive graphical interface with information and navigation functions. And finally, using artificial intelligence to control Franciszek Krzeczkowski's character. I'm just checking if we still have a connection with a lecture. I see the window of the Zoom, but I remember that we have a limitation of 40 minutes to the one presentation. So I'm just making a short technical break to check if you still here. I didn't see you. If can someone?
I don't hear any sound, Piotr.
Yes, if you don't have any response, it's okay.
Okay, I see the other participants. So thank you. So I can continue. I understand.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Regardless of the technical aspect, I place graphic, audio, and video materials in the space, which constitute documentation of the preparation for the presentation in the initial version for the defense of the work. There are also materials constituting the content of the artistic work, music and animations, prepared in the technique of a stop motion animation and computer 2D, two-dimensional and three-dimensional animation. An important part of the work were lab stations intended for the sonification of physical phenomena involving salt, which were intended to be performed live during the presentation. To provide online access to these lab stations, as well as the live space of my studio from the level of virtual space, I prepared a system of monitoring screens in the virtual mine with the use of USB cameras to live observe the situation in my studio. The entire presentation was conducted online under the conditions described. Thanks to this, it was possible to maintain the character of an audiovisual performance, as the only person who interacted with the work during the presentation was me. The commission and the invited guests watched the presentation on the Microsoft Teams platform and on YouTube also. In practice, it has turned out that with the measures taken, it is impossible to present the work online to be generally available. The first limitation is due to the size of the project file. The maximum size of the 3D scene that can be put online is approximately 300 megabytes. My project is close to 3 gigabytes. Another limitation is the use of video players that are not available online. In this system I've used. The next limitation results from the live camera monitoring system used in the work. This element is not applicable for logical reasons. First, or I would have to give online unlimited access to my cameras in my own private space, or assume assume that each user will have the same number of cameras. This can be solved by replacing the live image with the recorded documentary material, but it's already a serious interference in the structure of the work. To sum up, the work prepared in the area of pandemic with assumptions resulting from known limitations turned out to be practice completely unsuitable for later presentation in the form of an online service. The only effective method of presenting live this work is to use a VNC server. Such a server is designed to transmit video and audio from the host's desktop and also give the client the ability to give the client control over the keyboard and mouse. That allows the presentation by the author of the work. This requires launching the VNC server with the program and preparing the cameras with the lab stations that are part of it. In addition, it is also possible to give the keyboard and mouse control to interested participants. Several similar presentations were made. The works exist online in the form of several audio shortcuts, video shortcuts documenting fragments of the presentation. I have also prepared a 360 video presentation. So that's the excerpt. So, which interaction strategies seems to be effective? Limited opportunities to participate in live artistic events, such as concert, exhibitions, festivals, performances, and other form of artistic presentations, mean the most of the activity is moved to the internet. Apart from the forms of presentation that not involve participant in interactions, such as portals presenting multimedia content, for example, SoundCloud, YouTube, Vimeo, there are several options. We can create interactive interfaces using web development tools such as HTML5 and JavaScript, for example. We can participate in 3D spaces adapted to interact with other participants, such as Mozilla Hubs, Second Life, VR Chat, and others similar. The possibilities of these systems are large, but also in this case, you can take into account some limitations resulting from the possibilities provided by the creators of the system. In some situation, it may be associated with, for example, additional payments or simply technical constraints. The third way I see is to be able to implement custom spaces with WebGL. The Unity system makes it possible to compile the generated worlds into WebGL. Here, apart from the limitations resulting from the WebGL system itself, it seems that the possibilities of artistic expressions are the greatest, but it requires considerable technical knowledge and the time to prepare. I am currently testing this path for the Pandemic Media Space project. Finally, a quick overview of technologies that allow the use of non-contact forms of interaction that can be used in physical space. Just a quick list. To movement tracking and detection, we can use cameras, microphones, leap motion controller, Kinect controller. Another family of the controllers provided by the Arduino or similar systems. It can be infrared, which we know from the touchless light systems, using measuring of the temperature changes, ultrasonic sensor which we can use to measure the distance to the obstacle, microwavic, which is used by police to the velocity measuring, and of course well-known photoresistors, which can use to measuring the amount of light. Other interesting and hybridic kind of sensors, but require some touch, gyroscopic and accelerometrics, smartphones, Wiimote in Nintendo, well known by some artists and musicians, touchboard controller, light sticks, it is my own approach, and of course many more. So as you can see, although some of the interactive artistic strategies are reduced, there is still a lot of them left. I cannot present all possibilities because they are dependent on individual artistic creation of each artist. Each one can be combined existing possibilities in own creative way and even find the simple solutions I didn't mention because I didn't think of it. Hopefully, seems like the new limitations still leave the door to unlimited experimentations with the possibilities that remain. As we know, the artists are always able to explode known limitation with their creativity. Thank you for your attention, and also thanks to the Marek Choniewski and Ała Zagajkiewicz for inviting me to participate in this great project. Have you some questions?
Exactly 4 p.m. in our time and 5 p.m. in Kiev and Ukraine. That's amazing. So precise. Precisely finish exactly in time.
Oh, no.
Oh,
We
there's so many.
can continue. Thank you very much, Piotr. I like very much your last idea to unlimited character of and very personal character of interactivity. As this unlimited various limitation, all limits. It's like a limit of our mind, of our idea, of our work directions, and what my questions, what is different between, for example, your first sketch for pandemic media space? It was a little sketch for with little things. What personally you decided to finally produce for pandemic media space artwork?
I'm still experimenting on the level of the creation of 3D scene in Unity. So I'm taking the parameters which we grab by the Pandemic Media Space website, and I'm using it to alterate the shape of the 3D objects and also to you know, it's difficult because it's still not ready. So I'm in simple words, I'm working on another virtual instrument, audiovisual instrument.
Thank you. Thank you. Please, other questions, please.
Thank you, Piotr Madej. Piotr, and I have maybe questions. Not it's really your projects are really cool. It's very interesting, but I have questions maybe related to their existence after presentations. What are actually doing with all this cool stuff after you presenting this installation? Maybe you're recycling it or trying to preserve for some years.
I'm not sure if I understand you well, but you ask me what is going on with this installation after the presentations.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Most of them I have in my home. And as you can see, here's a fragments of the salt of the earth system, the chemistry bottles, and even salt solutions, microscopic sensor. My armillary sphere is now retired in my basement, but every one of them I can back to the life in few days if it's possible. So if someone wants to, for example, see the real online version of Salt on the Earth, we can meet and we can make an appointment. It's of course it takes some preparations, but it's possible to make such appointment.
Just as a reminder, because the 3D movie of the project is available on the website of the festival, of the Audio Art Festival, and also
Yes,
another
but it's
version,
not the same, you know. It's
I know,
just
I
yeah.
know. And another version is also on the website of the Intermedia. So there are different versions. I know that it is not full version, but if somebody is really interested, you can go there. This is 360 movie, so you can wear VR goggle, or you can just use a regular space to rotate the space. So that's something. That's like a compromise between the full version of the work and this guided version, but in 3D. I think I can.
Stop, you have questions? Or stop?
No answer.
Ostap Manulak, in the chat, we have some questions to Piotr. Do you somehow continue your work with project connected to Velichka salt mine, Velichka site?
Yes, I'm dreaming about the back to the life, the original conceptions. If just when the opportunities will be better than now, maybe when the pandemic goes to an end, I really like to present this original version as an audio visual performance inside of the salt mine. And also I'm thinking about the make kind of regular game from my diploma project to make the more this game part of the work as a regular game, as a kind of interactive presentation of the subject of the work.
For you. Thank you very much from Ostap. And okay. In your interview with Zenislava, you talked about some character of to integrate in your activity a lot of very different artistic professions like musicians, media artist, composer, sound artist. It's fantastic to combine very different activity artistic, but I think it's a very good solution to have some individual style in different things and to be free in a very different type of activity. I like very much this position.
I'm feeling myself as I'm standing exactly between the music and visual arts. So it's really great point of view to take some great strategies from both sides. It's really nice to can take the different tools from the different worlds of the artistic language.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Other questions for Piotr, please? No. We don't have. If not, I can just to talk. Thank you very much for this presentation and for participation in pandemic media space, for a lot of new idea, for a lot of new different topic around of pandemic media space, around algorithmic compositions, around media art, sound art, compositions. So thank you so much. And
Thank you. Thank you very much.
we are still into. I want to look for your new composition and or media art for pandemic media space. So and we in the few months, I don't know, in December, in January and February, it's our next meeting for present your work. And so I invite to continue to participate in pandemic media space, use our website, try to make new work and participate in new participation on new meeting presentation of Piotr. Thank you very much, Piotr. And see you.
Thank you all. See you.
I put also some extra works of Piotr on the chat, so please go and visit Mozilla Hub. Our end year gallery exhibition was programmed and arranged by Piotr as well, and there are many other works in this virtual space. So you can just link and go to this to other set of different works. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marek. Thank you. In the chat, we have a lot of indication. Thank you.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
All the
Bye.
best.
All the
Bye-bye.
best. Bye.
Bye bye.